Do you remember sneaking over here once you built the house? I had gotten home late that evening, and my parents were furious when we finally came in. I can still picture my daddy standing in the living room, my mother on the sofa, staring straight ahead. I swear they looked as if a family member had died. That was the moment they knew I was serious about you. My mother had a long talk with me later that night. She said that sometimes our future is dictated by who we are, not what we want. Look, I know it was wrong of her to hide those letters, but just try to understand that when we left, she probably thought it was easier for me to just let go. In her mind, she thought she was protecting me, and the best way to do that was to hide your letters. Not that any of it matters anymore. Now that I have Lon, I mean, he's handsome, charming, successful, and I know he loves me in his own way, but there's always something that's gonna be missing. The kind of love that we had that summer. Scene.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
It changes every time, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I know you can never do it the same. Like, I feel like I change it every time.
yeah. What I liked about this round is you did a good job of adding the physicality. Um, I liked the pacing of it. I could tell like you slowed it up more.
Mm-hmm.
And there was more depth to it emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
I liked. What were you using for it as far as like a tool?
I was using like substitution.
Okay.
I was thinking about like I revisited California like pretty recently
Hmm.
and seeing like my friends again. I remember I went to the beach in my old neighborhood. I had like an old friend call us in, and my friend and I were in her car and we drove past like my old house.
Hmm.
And we were kind of like, I feel like that could have tied into the moment for me a little bit, where it's like we are just talking about all these old memories that we used to have, where it's like, oh, the front yard and we did this and this and this. And it's
Yeah.
like in that moment, I felt like I was doing that with my friends, like going over all these old memories that were super sentimental to us, but like
Yeah.
meaningful and emotional. So I was kind of tying that into the scene with it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's like a great example of like you don't have to go through a literal breakup to like use it
Yeah.
memory for something that is different. Yeah, that's really good.
Mhm.
Tell me about what you think Allie wants the most in this moment in her life.
I think she really wants like clarity right now, where it's like obviously she has to make a choice between like Lon and like having that life with him, that's the easy life and the easy choice,
Mhm.
or choosing some like a life with Noah instead, which is the more difficult choice, and not everyone's supportive of it. And I think she's like in this moment really curious, like, is this over for you? Like, I know that I'm still like wanting this, but then like she doesn't know if like is he over it? Is he mad at her still? Like I think she's like trying to like look for that in him in a way of like, is this over for you? But
Yeah.
yeah,
And if it came down to it, out of the two men, who do you think she wants?
I feel like in her gut she knows that she wants Noah.
Hmm.
Like that's the person who she shares all these special emotional moments with. And towards the end of the scene where she was talking about Lon, like trying to list off his attributes of like he's handsome, he's charming, successful, like all of those are outer appearances where her parents are obviously, she comes from a rich family. She wants her parents want the man to be successful, and want all these like outer things from him, but innerly, like she wants emotional depth and she's not going to receive that from Lon. And, so I think at the end of the day, she really wants Noah.
Okay, okay,
Mhm.
good. So trying to think how we could, because I think I know you're probably sick of this monologue, but it's
No,
I
it's
have a hard
okay.
time. I was gonna do this as the last week of monologue, but
Yeah.
I think let's work on it one more time for next week. So have it ready one more time for me next week. And I think I know you know what she wants.
Yeah.
I think because you know how sometimes we know the end of the story, we're like, oh, we know
Hmm.
what this character wants.
Yeah.
Think what is missing in this is I think this is a moment where she actually is sort of realizing like this is the man I really want. And I
Mhm.
think that sort of like aha moment can be more present of she's talking about Lon and she's like you said like she's listing yeah he has all these qualities and then maybe it's like but I'm looking at this man like he's
Yeah.
like oh my god like
Yeah. For
like
sure.
it hit in that moment
Yeah.
and I think sometimes like again as actors like we know the end of the story we know that this is what she wants but she doesn't know what she wants yet
Hmm.
she's figuring it out right here. So if we can bring that a little bit more into it of like
Gotcha.
sort of that aha, that discovery in it. So you find where that is for her. It might be like at that moment I was talking about, it might be somewhere different, but
Mhm.
I think that is the piece that we're missing a little bit. And I think
Perfect.
that
Yeah.
will just like make it fresh and make it real, like,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I love the depth that you brought to it. I love the physicality.
Mhm.
Um, and one more thing I'll add for this, and this can be hard because it's a lot of things to like work on mentally,
Hmm.
but really imagine him when you're speaking to him because
Hmm.
characters like when I'm talking to my boyfriend or whatever whoever I'm
Hmm.
talking to he doesn't just stand there sometimes he's like moving he's adjusting he's like reacting to what you're saying
Hmm.
you can take those moments and react to him
Mm.
you're reacting to his body language
Yeah.
he's changing in what you're saying so
Yeah. How does that affect like eye line? Like how do I use those moments to like say I do like get in the moment and I imagine him walking around or he's doing whatever. How do I also do that while respecting like eye line levels? Do
yeah
I like slightly above or
yeah yeah good question so you can I think because you're seated for the monologue, you
Hmm.
don't have to change eyeline a whole lot,
Okay.
um but you can always picture like maybe he's like moving back, maybe he's getting upset, maybe he's
Yeah.
and so that maybe your eyeline's not changing, but you're kind
Yeah.
of like getting nervous or like opening up, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Um I would say the really one eyeline change is if he really did like walk out for some reason. I don't think he would in this scene,
Hmm.
but that would be a case where you're just like following with your eyes. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah. I think that will be good to work on for next week. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, let's go from there. I'm gonna give you. We're gonna work on a little bit of Meisner next week. Have you heard of Meisner?
I don't know if I have, no.
Okay. Well, so